I told him I needed to experience more before settling down. He changed the locks the next day. Yeah, that's literally what happened. Looking back, I don't even know if I can explain it in a way that doesn't make me sound like the bad guy, but whatever. I'm Zoe, 27, and I swear I didn't think asking for a little freedom before fully committing would blow up my entire life. Ryan and I met 3 years ago at a mutual friend's housewarming. We clicked instantly, like finished each other's sentences kind of connection. 2 months later, we were practically living together. By 6 months, we made it official and signed a lease on a one-bedroom apartment downtown. I loved our little routine. Weekday mornings rushing out with travel mugs of coffee, texting throughout the day, evenings making dinner together, or ordering in. We were that couple everyone called relationship goals. My Instagram was full of cute pictures of us hiking, at concerts, or just being disgustingly cute at home. Then Megan, my best friend since college, started making these comments. Little things at first. Don't you miss the excitement of meeting someone new? Or, girl, you're only 27. I can't imagine being tied down already. I'd laugh it off, but the thoughts stuck like gum in my hair. Between us seeing Megan and the girls living their best lives while I was picking up Ryan's socks off the bathroom floor for the millionth time, it started to feel like maybe I was missing out on something. The more I scrolled through social media, the more the feeling grew. Tara had just matched with a literal model on a dating app. Jenny was dating a guy who flew her to Miami for the weekend, just because. Meanwhile, Ryan and I were arguing about whose turn it was to clean the bathroom. During girls' night at Megan's place, after a few glasses of wine, they really laid it on thick. You've only been with, 3 guys your whole life? Megan said, refilling my glass. That's nothing. How do you know Ryan's the one if you haven't experienced other options? Exactly, Tara chimed in. My mom always said you should test drive a few cars before buying one. I started noticing things about Ryan that annoyed me. The way he chewed too loudly, how he always chose the same restaurants for date night, his predictable routines. 3 years suddenly felt suffocating instead of comfortable. All these girls living their best lives while I'm arguing about throw pillows. Was this really going to be my whole story? Ryan noticed the change in me. You've been quiet lately, he said one night as we did the dishes together. Everything okay? I brushed it off, but the distance grew inch by inch. I started going out more with Megan and the girls, coming home later, being vaguer about my plans. The breaking point came when Ryan found brochures for solo travel packages in my bag. I hadn't actually planned to go anywhere, just browsing, really, but he looked at me like I'd already left. Are you unhappy with me? He asked that night, his voice so serious it scared me. I realized then I had to tell him how I was feeling. Little did I know that conversation would change everything. I think we need to talk, I said, sitting cross-legged on our bed while Ryan folded laundry. This wasn't supposed to be a breakup, just an adjustment, a pause button. That sounds ominous, he said, half smiling until he saw my face. What's going on, Zoe? I took a deep breath. I love you. You know that, right? But I've been thinking about us, about me, about life, and I feel like maybe I need to experience more before we get too serious. His expression shifted from concern to confusion. Too serious? We live together. We've been together for 3 years. We've talked about marriage. How are we not already serious? I tried to explain. That's just it. We've been in this bubble, and it's been amazing. But sometimes I wonder if I'm missing out. My friends, your friends, he cut me off. The ones who can't keep a relationship longer than their nail polish. Those friends. That irritated me. Don't be condescending. They're just living differently. And sometimes I wonder if I should have explored more options before settling down. Ryan got very quiet. Options? I'm an option now. That's not what I meant, I backpedaled. Maybe we could take a break. Not break up exactly, but like open things up temporarily. He stared at me like I'd suggested we rob a bank. You want us to stay together while you date other people? When he said it like that, it sounded bad. But in my head, it had made perfect sense. Not like regular dating, just experiences. Then I'd know for sure you're the one, and we could fully commit without me having these doubts. So, you want me to wait at home while you experience other guys, then welcome you back when you've decided I'm good enough after all? His voice had that dangerous calm that meant he was actually furious. You could experience people too, I offered, though the thought made my stomach turn. It would be fair. Ryan laughed, but not in a funny way. I don't want anyone else, Zoe. I thought you felt the same. I do love you, I insisted. This isn't about love, it's about making sure we're not missing out. We. He raised an eyebrow. There's no we in this plan. This is about you wanting to sleep with other people without losing your safety net. That stung because maybe it was a little true, but he was missing the point. You're not a safety net. You're the person I want to build a life with. I just need to be sure. Can we still live together while we figure this out? I asked. Nothing would really change except you'd be with other people and then come home to me. He shook his head. No way. If you want to experience more, you can't do it while living with me. I hadn't expected that. In my head, everything would stay the same. Our home, our routine, just with this new freedom. So what? You want me to move out? If you want to be single, then be single completely. I'm not going to be your backup plan. The conversation spiraled from there. He asked if there was already someone specific I wanted to be with. I told him no, which was true, but he didn't believe me. I accused him of being controlling. He said I was selfish. We both said things we shouldn't have. Fine, I finally snapped, grabbing my purse. I'll go stay with Megan for a few days until you calm down and we can talk about this rationally. Don't expect things to be different when you come back, he warned as I headed for the door. Whatever. You'll realize I'm being reasonable once you think about it, I said, convinced he was overreacting. Little did I know I wouldn't be coming back to our apartment at all. Megan's couch wasn't nearly as comfortable as it looked, and her excitement about my freedom faded after the second night. So, how long are you planning to crash here? She asked on day 3, stepping over my makeshift bed to get to her kitchen. Just until Ryan gets over himself, I said, scrolling through my phone. He hadn't texted once, which was starting to worry me. But you're basically broken up, right? Megan pressed. Shouldn't you be looking for your own place? I looked up from my phone. We're not broken up, we're just figuring things out. Megan gave me a look. He told you to move out, Zoe. By day 4, the situation at Megan's was getting tense. Her one-bedroom apartment wasn't meant for 2 people. I hate to do this, but Jason's coming over tonight, she said that morning. Could you maybe not be here? Great. My supposed best friend was kicking me out for a hookup. Where am I supposed to go? I tried Tara and Jenny. Tara was redecorating her guest room, and Jenny had family visiting. Convenient excuses. Fine, I told Megan. I'll go back to my place. Ryan's had enough time to cool off. I took an Uber back to our apartment complex that afternoon, rehearsing what I'd say to Ryan. When I put my key in the lock, it didn't work. I tried again, jiggling it the way you sometimes had to with our finicky door. Nothing. Weird. I knocked instead. No answer. After 20 minutes of knocking intermittently, our neighbor, Mrs. Polson, stuck her head out. He's not home, dear. Left for work hours ago. My key isn't working, I explained. She gave me a sympathetic look. I saw the locksmith yesterday. Thought you knew. My mouth went dry. Locksmith? She nodded slowly. I'm sorry, honey. Maybe try calling him again. I sank down against our door. No, his door now, and tried to process what was happening. He'd changed the locks. He'd actually locked me out of my own home. I called Ryan again and again. On the 5th try, he finally picked up. What do you want, Zoe? His voice was cold, distant. My key doesn't work, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Did you change the locks? Yes. One word, no explanation. My temper flared. Are you kidding me? That's illegal. My name is on the lease too. I called the landlord, he said flatly. I'm taking over the lease. Your name will be removed. You have until Saturday to arrange to pick up your things. I'll be out from 2 to 4. You can come then. You can't just decide that, I was shouting now, not caring who heard. Where am I supposed to go? All my stuff is in there. You should have thought about that before you decided you needed to experience more, he said, his voice finally showing some emotion, bitter, hurt, anger. You wanted freedom? Well, now you've got it. He hung up, leaving me sitting in the hallway of what used to be our apartment building, homeless and shocked. I called Megan, sobbing. He changed the locks. Can you believe him? Who does that? There was a pause before she answered. That's extreme. But Zoe, what did you expect? You basically told him you wanted to sleep with other guys while keeping him on hold. That's not what I said, but even as I protested, I wondered if that was exactly how it sounded to him. As I waited for another Uber, staring at the building I couldn't enter, I realized my friends weren't as supportive as I'd expected. They'd been all for me experiencing more when it was theoretical, but now that I needed actual help, they were backing away. I was starting to wonder if I'd made a terrible mistake. The next few days were a blur of desperate phone calls, couch surfing, and growing resentment. I bounced from Megan's to Tara's, then finally to Jenny's when Tara's renovations mysteriously finished. But she suddenly remembered her roommate's no guests policy. Sorry, but my place is super small, Jenny said on my second night there. And Liam might come over this weekend. I was getting the message. No one wanted me around for long. Even worse, my supposed friends seemed to be actively avoiding having me there when they had guys over. What's the big deal? I asked Jenny. It's not like I'm going to get in your way. She looked uncomfortable. It's just we only have one bedroom and the walls are thin, and having you on the couch when I bring someone home is inconvenient, I finished for her. Kind of. Yeah, she admitted. Can't you stay with your parents? My parents lived 3 hours away and thought Ryan was the best thing that ever happened to me. Going home meant explaining everything, and I wasn't ready for that lecture. What about the other way around? I suggested. What if I wanted to bring someone back here? Jenny looked at me like I'd grown a second head. You'd bring a guy back to my apartment while crashing on my couch after breaking up with Ryan like 5 minutes ago? We didn't break up, I insisted automatically. And isn't that the whole point? I wanted to experience more. You guys were all for it last week. Yeah, but we thought you'd get your own place first, she said. Not expect us to host your hookups. Some friends they were, the same people who'd filled my head with doubts about settling down too young, were now judging me for actually taking their advice. By day 6 of my unexpected homelessness, desperation set in. I hadn't been able to get many clothes from the apartment, just what Ryan had grudgingly left in a box with the building superintendent. I was running out of money from eating out for every meal. And worst of all, Ryan still wasn't answering my calls. Maybe if you talk to him in person, Tara suggested during our lunch. Just show up when you know he'll be home. That evening, I positioned myself in the hallway outside his apartment. When I heard his footsteps coming up the stairs, my heart raced. I'd rehearsed what I was going to say. I'd be reasonable. I'd compromise. I just needed him to let me come home. But when he rounded the corner and saw me, his face hardened in a way I'd never seen before. "What are you doing here? Zoe?" No greeting, no warmth. "Ryan, please, can we talk? Really talk?" I stepped toward him. "I miss you. I miss our home." "You mean you miss having somewhere comfortable to stay?" He corrected, unlocking his door without looking at me. "That's not fair," I said, following him to the doorway. "I made a mistake. Okay, I wasn't thinking clearly." He paused in the doorway, blocking my view inside. "A mistake? You told me you wanted to sleep with other people while keeping our relationship as a backup plan. That wasn't a slip of the tongue, Zoe. That was what you really wanted." I never said I wanted to sleep with other people, though deep down I knew that's exactly what experiencing more had meant. "Ryan, please let me come in just for a minute. We lived together for almost 3 years. I can't what? Protect myself from someone who clearly doesn't value me the way I thought she did?" His voice rose. "You wanted space to explore your options. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for." The elevator dinged behind me, and I heard footsteps. Ryan looked past me and his expression changed, softened in a way that made my stomach drop. I turned to see a woman walking toward us. Tall, curly hair, gorgeous. She smiled at Ryan like she knew him. "Am I early?" she asked, glancing between us. "No, you're right on time," Ryan said, his voice completely different than the cold tone he'd been using with me. "Jade, this is Zoe, my ex." "Zoe, this is Jade. She's in my Thursday night class." "Ex? Thursday night class? Since when was he taking classes? And who the hell was Jade?" "Oh, nice to meet you," Jade said politely, though her eyes held a hint of understanding about the situation she'd walked into. "We were just finishing up," Ryan told her, then looked at me pointedly. "Right, Zoe?" I couldn't speak, couldn't move. Ryan had a date already with this perfectly looking woman who apparently shared interests with him I knew nothing about. "Right," I managed finally. "I was just leaving." As I walked toward the elevator on shaky legs, I heard Ryan invite Jade into my apartment. I heard her laugh at something he said. I heard the door close behind them. I made it to the stairwell before the tears came, hot and fast and humiliating. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Not at all. I ended up at Megan's door again, mascara streaking down my face, barely able to get words out between sobs. "He's seeing someone else," I choked out when she let me in. "Already? Some girl named Jade from his class." "What class?" Megan asked, looking confused. "Exactly, I don't even know. He never mentioned taking a class on Thursdays." I collapsed on her couch. How could he move on so quickly? Megan sat beside me, awkwardly patting my shoulder. "Isn't that what you wanted? For both of you to see other people?" I glared at her through my tears. "No, I don't know what I wanted anymore." "You wanted to have your cake and eat it too," she said bluntly, and it backfired. I was too exhausted to argue. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had wanted the impossible freedom to explore, while keeping Ryan as my safety net, but seeing him with someone else made me realize I'd never actually pictured him moving on. In my head, he'd be waiting for me to finish experiencing more, and then welcome me back. 2 weeks after moving into my depressing studio apartment, I finally worked up the courage to try one more time with Ryan. Now that I had my own place, maybe he'd see I was serious about fixing things. When I showed up at our old apartment to collect my remaining things, Ryan opened the door, looking better than I remembered. Had his shoulders always been that broad? Was he working out more? Our apartment, his apartment, looked different. Some of my decorations were gone, replaced with new things I didn't recognize. The throw pillows I'd spent hours choosing were nowhere to be seen. "I boxed up most of your stuff," he said, gesturing to several cardboard boxes neatly stacked by the door. "Take your time. I'll be in the bedroom if you need anything else." "Ryan, wait," I said before he could walk away. "Can we talk, please?" He hesitated, then turned around with a guarded expression. "About what?" "About us. About what happened." I stepped closer. "I know I hurt you and I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking clearly. My friends got in my head with all this FOMO nonsense and I panicked." "So now it's your friend's fault?" His eyebrow raised. "No, it's my fault for listening to them," I clarified quickly. "Ryan, I made a huge mistake. I never actually wanted to be with anyone else. I was just scared of commitment, I guess." "And now you're not." He looked skeptical. "Now I've seen what life is like without you, and it's awful," I admitted. "I miss you every day. I miss our life together." For a moment, his expression softened, and hope flared in my chest. Maybe he missed me too. Maybe we could fix this. "Zoe," he started, then paused at the sound of the front door opening. I turned to see Jade walk in with a grocery bag. She stopped short when she saw me. "Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you'd be here," she said, looking between us awkwardly. "I can come back." "No, it's fine," Ryan said, his voice warm as he looked at her. Zoe was just picking up her things. My throat closed up. "You gave her a key already?" Ryan's expression hardened again. "Like I said, you're picking up your things and leaving." Jade tried to smooth over the tension. "I'll just put these in the kitchen and get out of your way." As she walked past us, I noticed something that made my blood boil. She was wearing one of Ryan's shirts, the blue one I always used to steal. The casual intimacy of it hit me like a slap. "How long has this been going on?" I demanded once she was out of earshot. "Were you seeing her before we broke up?" "We didn't break up, remember?" You wanted to experience more, he said with air quotes. And no, I met Jade in my creative writing class, the one I started taking 2 months ago, that you never once asked about. The accusation stung because it was true. I'd been so wrapped up in my own discontent that I hadn't paid attention to Ryan's new interests. I made a mistake, I repeated, feeling desperate. People make mistakes, Ryan. You can't throw away 3 years over one conversation. It wasn't just the conversation, he said quietly. It was realizing that while I was planning our future, you were wondering what you were missing out on. That changes how I see everything we had. So that's it? You've replaced me already, and there's no chance for us. I couldn't hide the bitterness in my voice. Ryan, I haven't replaced you. I've moved on. There's a difference. With the first girl who showed interest, I snapped, then immediately regretted it when I saw his face darken. You don't get to do that, he said, voice dangerously low. You don't get to act jealous when you're the one who wanted freedom to see other people. I made a mistake, I shouted, tears threatening again. Why can't you understand that? I understand perfectly, he said coldly. Your mistake wasn't asking for space. Your mistake was assuming I'd just wait around until you decided I was good enough. The truth of his words hit hard. That was exactly what I'd expected, that he'd be there waiting whenever I was ready to come back. I still love you, I whispered, my last desperate card to play. Ryan looked at me for a long moment, and I thought I saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Regret, maybe? But then Jade appeared at the edge of the kitchen, watching us with concern, and his expression changed as he looked at her. I loved you too, he said finally, turning back to me. But not anymore. Please take your things and go. 6 months later, my life looked nothing like I'd imagined. My tiny studio apartment never felt like home. My job performance had suffered during the breakup drama, leading to a demotion that meant even less money. The experiences I'd been so eager to have turned out to be a string of disappointing dates with guys who disappeared after getting what they wanted. Meanwhile, through social media and mutual friends, I got to watch Ryan thrive. He and Jade were now officially a couple, traveling together, attending writing workshops, looking disgustingly happy in every photo. He'd even gotten a promotion at work, something he'd been working toward when we were together, but I'd barely paid attention to. My friend group had fractured. Megan still spoke to me, but Tara and Jenny had drifted away. I later found out they'd stayed friends with Ryan, even hung out with him, and Jade occasionally. The final blow came when Megan hesitantly mentioned a rumor she'd heard through mutual friends. Don't shoot the messenger, she prefaced, but I thought you should hear it from me instead of social media. Ryan proposed to Jade last weekend. The coffee cup slipped from my hand, splashing hot liquid across the table. What? They've only been together for 6 months. Sometimes when you know, Megan said with an apologetic shrug. Apparently he's never been more sure of anything. The words were like a knife. That was what he used to say about me, about us. That's crazy, I stammered. They barely know each other. Actually, they have a lot in common, Megan said carefully. They're both writers now. Did you know Ryan's getting a short story published? And they're taking that trip to Italy you guys always talked about. Later that night, alone in my sad little apartment, scrolling through old photos of Ryan and me, the full weight of what I'd done finally hit me. I'd had everything: a loving partner, a beautiful home, friends who respected us as a couple, plans for a future together. And I'd thrown it all away because of FOMO, because my friends put ideas in my head, because I'd been too immature to recognize what I had. I typed and deleted a dozen messages to Ryan that night. Congratulations. I hate you. I miss you. I'm happy for you. None of them felt right. None of them would change anything. In the end, I just turned off my phone and cried myself to sleep, haunted by the memory of the words that had destroyed my life. I think I need to experience more before settling down. Ryan had experienced more. All right. More happiness, more success, more love, just not with me. And all I'd experienced was the painful lesson that sometimes what you're looking for is exactly what you already had. This story is over, but the next one will leave you speechless.